I'm Ben Robichaux. I am from southern Louisiana, a small town about 50 miles southwest of New Orleans called Thibodaux. So this is where I got my undergraduate degree at a small university in town called Nicholls State University. I got an instrumental music education degree here. They allowed me to move on to get a master's and a doctorate in composition, both from the University of Georgia. I feel like the music that I want to write, I want it to be accessible. I want my family to listen to it and have an emotional reaction to it. And that's becoming more important to me over time. I want non-musicians and musicians alike to come away after listening to my music with something. The thought process about what the piece was going to be, it needed to have more of an emotional connection, and that threw me a bit for a loop because I have to think about how it affects me, how it affects my immediate surroundings, my area, and my country, and the world. The instrumentation, the cello, viola, violin, and clarinet, it's essentially a string quartet where you're replacing one of the violins with a clarinet, and the clarinet is one of the more agile, beautiful instruments in the wind family. So there's none of those instruments are cumbersome or have very many limitations. So I love the instrumentation personally. The first few days were, how am I going to organize this? I wrote this small requiem mass of miniatures. Um, and once I decided how those miniatures, the five multiple movements were going to be organized, once I set it up like that and I open the computer and start writing, it really kind of flows from there. I liked how organized the competition sort of made me. I think that this is kind of like upped my game as far as, how prepared I am at the onset of a piece. The piece is a requiem mass. It's in five movements. The first and the last movements are the traditional requiem mass movements. The introit, like the processional, has this very daunting, somber but moving feel to it. The last movement is in paradisum, is where we're acknowledging that those that have passed away are in a better place. And then the inner three movements are sort of like this stark contrast to that, and they're all based on commentary made by political figures. The title of the piece sort of hits on what I wanted to hit on: Mass for Voiceless Numbers. The idea of voiceless numbers being that, throughout this whole process, we've seen just data about what's happening. And a lot of what gets lost, I feel like, in just a number on a screen is that, these are human beings that we're talking about. So I wanted to hit on the emotional weight of that.